All right, Neil, floor is yours.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Well, thanks a lot for joining the call today. And, the purpose of the call, of course, is to talk about the research challenge. But before we get into that, and Roger and his team will talk about that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the CFA Institute, the CFA Designation, and the CFA Society of Indianapolis. And so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Neil Van Wert, and I'm the president of the CFA Society of Indianapolis. And, since this research challenge is hosted by our local society in conjunction with the Institute, I thought it'd be helpful to zoom out a little bit and tell you about the CFA designation. So when I was in your shoes, admittedly, a long time ago, I had a vague knowledge of what is this CFA designation? And I remember my senior year, the fall of my senior year, was a finance major, and one of our finance professors told us that, hey, you know what, you really should form a study group to sit for the level 1 exam right after you graduate at the end of May. And being a senior in college, had other things on my mind than studying for yet another examination. But long story short, I really wish I would have done that. I am a CFA charter holder today, but it took me a bit longer. And one of the reasons it did is because I didn't get started right after graduation, and I really wish I would have. So, what is this CFA designation and how do you get it? Well, as you probably already all know, to get a CFA designation, you actually need to pass a series of 3 examinations. You need requisite work experience, and you need some reference letters. You package all of that together, and then you apply to become a member of the CFA Institute, and the Institute is the one who awards the CFA charter. For reference, there's around 150,000 charter holders in the world, and there are tons of finance designations. As you work with and interact with finance professionals, you see all sorts of acronyms and letters behind names, but I would say the CFA is really considered to be the gold standard. So that's the designation, that's the Institute. And then briefly, the CFA Society is really a locally led organization, the grassroots really, to administer efforts. And there are around 150 local societies around the globe. Our local society, the CFA Society of Indianapolis, we have about 350, 360 members. Our geographic reach is most of the state of Indiana. Most of our members are concentrated in the Indianapolis area, and that's where we host our events. And we do host an event almost monthly. And certainly you would be invited to attend one or more of our events. Check out our website, the CFA Society of Indianapolis. We're also on some social media platforms as well. Hopefully that's helpful. In short, I really want to thank you for signing up for this research challenge. I encourage you to make the most of this opportunity, learn more about our society, learn more about the Institute, and really embrace this challenge ahead of you. So with that, I'll turn it over to Roger, and he'll get into the research challenge specifically. Unless there are any questions, I'm happy to field any questions now or at the end.
Sounds good. Yep. So thanks, Neil. My name is Roger Lee. I'm on the board of the CFA Society in Indianapolis with Neil. I pick stocks for a living. I worked at some mutual funds. I currently pick stocks for investment advisor in Columbus, Indiana, here Marbach. And I'm a huge fan of the CFA designation. I sat for level 1 straight out of undergrad in 2008 and got my charter shortly after, a few years after. But yeah, the research challenge is sort of the, admitting it. Research challenge is a nice hands-on way to get involved and experience what it's like to conduct research for a living. And so I'm gonna share my screen now. Let's see. Yep. So yeah, a little bit of background about the research challenge. It's a global competition. The past winners, you can notice it's teams from all over the world. Past years, it's been Norway, Australia, Philippines, Switzerland, Dominican Republic. I think the US should probably get on there. So there's a lot of resources you can get on the website, but you can kind of see how the competition is broken down by geography. So you can kind of see where all the teams are from. And then also on the website, you can see some of their previous reports and the previous presentations, so you can get a feel for what the challenge is like and what it takes to get to the finish line. But yeah, so a little bit about format. I'm sure many of you are aware it's teams of 3 to 5, graduate, undergraduate, and then you're paired up with a professor from your school. You can spend up to 10 hours with them, and then the society is also going to connect you with an industry mentor, and you'll spend 6 hours with them. If you progress to the next round, you're allowed to spend 3 hours with them, with your advisors and mentors accordingly. And for the challenge, you're just going to analyze a bunch of data on the company that we're going to tell you in a few minutes. You're going to develop a recommendation, just like you would with a fund or a bank. You're going to mention if it's a buy, sell, hold, and then you're going to give a presentation on it, and you're going to defend it. There's going to be some Q&A. And then the final product, as I just mentioned, it's going to be a 10-page report, and then there's going to be a 10-minute presentation that we're gonna have hosted at the NCAA Hall of Champions in Indianapolis. Regarding the rules, that they're all posted online, and there's a link in the slide. I encourage everyone to open the rules and read these at your convenience. There's a lot of helpful hints in here, and as you scroll through, you'll also notice at the very end of it, sorry, motion sickness. At the very end, you'll notice the scoring rubrics. So this is what you're going to be judged on. It's all the criteria for the presentations, all the criteria for the reports. It's all in here, so you know exactly what we're looking for. Regarding the rules, there's a lot of rules that are they're all over the rule book regarding communications, outside help. I encourage everyone to really read into those and understand, like even on the presentation, you can't use props, you can't give handouts to the judges. So just make sure you follow all the rules. And so why would you want to participate? It'd be awesome to win. Locally, globally, it'd be really awesome to win. You get a lot of recognition, but separately, just the journey, right? You're gonna get a lot of hands-on experience. You're gonna get some mentorship. You're gonna learn about the ethics of research. So if you go to the CFA website, there are extensive resources on ethics. This is tested extensively on the exam as well. And then, but yeah, in general, bottom line is you're going to conduct a lot of financial analysis. You're going to do things like valuation. You're going to write an awesome report, and then you're going to give a presentation. There's other tangibles that are awesome for your career. You get to network. I'm sure you'll get tight with your mentor. I was a mentor for the Anderson team 2 years ago. I was a judge last year. Really enjoyed connecting with the students. You're also all welcome to join us for our CFA Indianapolis events, as Neil mentioned. And then, yeah, this would be a great line item for your resume, CVs, and any of your professors, any professionals will attest this. When you interview in finance, people are going to always ask you to pitch a stock or talk about something that you like in the market, something that you don't like in the market. So having experience and knowing how to frame things out, it's very helpful. And then separately, you're also going to have an amazing writing sample. And even when I was interviewing when I was younger, the cover letter for my resumes was usually an investment write-up. And I think it's a nice way to convey that you can organize your thoughts and you can explain your logic. So next steps, I encourage everyone to form your teams of 3 to 5, and then there's some links here. One of them is for the student registration. You're gonna make a account on the CFA website. You're gonna register on this link, and then the faculty advisors will register on this link. And then We will be assigning industry mentors shortly, but we want to get all the teams enrolled first. So please shoot us an email at indycfachallenge@gmail.com. And then once we have the team rosters and contacts, we will connect you accordingly. The timeline, you have to register in the next 2 weeks. So the deadline's on November 4th. And then we will be having a virtual company meeting on Friday, November 12th, and that'll be at 2 p.m. If you haven't received an invite to that, definitely shoot an email over and I'll invite you accordingly. And then I'll tell you the company in a minute. And then the written reports will be due on February 10th. And then our local finals will be held on February 24th. And then separately, the sub-regionals will be held in March, the regionals will be held in April, and then the finals will be held in May. And then as mentioned before, any questions, shoot us an email at indycfachallenge@gmail.com. And now for the actual company that we're going to be presenting on. It's not a local company, but it's a very interesting spinoff out of XPO Logistics. The company is GXO Logistics. And I encourage everyone to get familiar with the company on their website. And they have a lot of interesting resources. They recently filed a Form 10. And they have a virtual investor day online. And they have tons of talking points, transcripts, presentations. I encourage everyone to check it out sometime before November 12th. And you can start getting your questions together. You can start getting your models together, checking out the Form 10. And helpful hint, if you want to dig into the history a bit more, you will have to look into the XPO Logistics filings. The ticker is XPO, and but the target company itself, the ticker is GXO. And so that wraps up my presentation.
That is going to be a hard call.
Dan, Neil, anyone from the CFA board, do you have anything to mention?
Yeah, I'd just like to add 2 points, please. My name is Daniel Mowdy. I'm the treasurer of CFA Society of Indianapolis, and I've been involved with the competition for the last few years. So 2 things come to mind with respect to just lessons learned over my time working in this challenge. First of all, as Roger has stressed, please have a look at that scoring sheet, both with respect to the presentation and the written report, as well as the relative scores to each topic therein. We've had situations in the past where somebody's done, an excellent write-up, but may have overlooked an entire section. And so it's not Squid Game, but it is a competition. And so try to bear in mind the way those will be scored. Second of all, I'd encourage every team to fully utilize their mentors. Sometimes there can be perhaps a little hesitation in reaching out to somebody, but we're specifically finding people within our organization who want to give back, who really want to be involved in mentoring these teams. So I would just encourage everybody to make full utilization of that resource.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything to add?
I can definitely add my own thoughts as a past participant. So I competed in the CFA challenge. I think it was like 2019, along with a few friends of mine. And when Roger was saying that this is a really great experience and something that can really benefit the resume, like that is for sure. We had a fellow team member, his name was Jonah Dritson, who, when he was going around looking for a job in finance, if it's another CFA charter holder sees the research challenge on their resume, that's going to be brought up almost immediately just because the institute's name is so familiar. And then along with that, when we competed, our subject company was Anthem. And when another fellow team member applied for positions at Anthem and they saw that experience, it really pushes the resume forward a lot more than you can imagine. And then overall, this was like the most professional, realistic project I've ever done in college. And so definitely having gone through this and having had the experience, it's going to really just propel you a lot more than you can imagine. So definitely take advantage of this experience and use all your resources as much as you can as you go through it.
Thanks, David.
Roger, would you also like to touch on who we're expecting to have from GXO?
Yep.
Just,
So
for the presentation.
actually, so the presentation is going to be run. Actually, if you open the Investor Day website, it's Mark Manduca will be presenting. So he actually by background. I've spoken with him a few times. I thought he'd just been an interesting presenter just because he is a CFA charter holder. He spent a long time on the sell side. So he was a sell side research analyst, and then he went corporate, and now he's the chief investment officer for GXO Logistics. And I forgot he's going to include another member of management. I forgot who he was.
Yeah, they're I believe the head of business development.
Yep.
Maybe I got one more comment. You know, I know that you're all in school full time, and it's like, well, this is one more thing to add. But I mean, I can honestly say I do think this is a very valuable experience. As David alluded to, it gives you something to talk about when you interview. It gives you real world analysis, right? You can figure out, do I want to become an equity analyst? This is very real. The other thing I'll mention is from a time commitment perspective, sure, you do have to spend time working on the report and the PowerPoint, but we've sort of timed it where you can get your information this fall, and then, after finals are over, you have probably a month or so off, and you can spend some of that time. You don't have to spend all day, every day of your break, but you can use some of that time to work on this, and then you come back for your spring semester, and it's fairly early into the semester, and so we've tried to time it such that it's not corresponding similar to your final examination schedule. So hopefully that works for all the students here.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just add to that. I know in the past we've had some teams that registered and then did not end up participating. Definitely, we know your schedules are nuts. So definitely, time management is everything. But and definitely, don't be a stranger. I judged last year, but I was a mentor 2 years ago. Definitely, use your time with your mentors, and don't wait till the end to hit them up early on. You have plenty of hours to spend with them to get some guidance, and yeah, definitely use your resources as David mentioned. And the presentation, it'll be a fun presentation, but definitely get familiar with the company before. There's a lot of resources out there. The recent Investor Day, there's a lot of materials to just grind through. And anyone have any questions or any comments? Floor is open.
I had one question for Neil, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Hey, Neil, Caleb McClay, just a question in reference to the CFA. I was just wondering how long you had until you had to renew your CFA charter.
To renew?
Or did you have to renew it at all? Like, I know a lot of certifications you take like every 5 years or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a good question. So essentially, once you're awarded the charter, as long as you are pay your dues, of course, your annual dues, and then there's an annual ethics, certificate, Caleb, that you have to fill out. As long as you fulfill, both of those, you're able to, maintain the charter for as long as you want. There is a continuing education recommendation, but it's not a requirement. And so essentially, once you, are awarded a charter, you would, essentially be able to have that for as long as you want. So.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Anyone have any other questions on the charter, the society, the challenge? Definitely feel free.
Hey, Roger, is the local challenge going to be in person or virtual this year?
The local challenge will be in person.
Okay.
So we were encouraged. We got an email. The coordinators got an email. They want encouraging us to just have the presentations and the kickoffs virtual, just because Delta variant was uncertain. But I think by February, I think things should be a little safer, and we'll be doing it at the NCA headquarters.
Okay, very cool. Thanks.
And I'll say separately, we haven't finalized it yet, but we're trying to figure out a cool speaker to tag on to the event. So perhaps after we announce the winners, we'll probably bring in a cool local speaker.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
And also at the NCA, while the other teams are presenting, I believe if any students or faculty haven't visited yet, you'll also have access to the museum. Their Hall of Champions. It's pretty cool. Anyone else have any questions, concerns, and anything at all? If not, we can wrap that up, and I hope everyone enjoys the challenge. I hope everyone likes the company. If you don't like the company, then it's your decision if it's a long or short. And but yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend. And if you have any questions, shoot over an email, and let me know if there's any difficulties with registration as well. I can forward anything to the institute.
I have a quick question.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so do we register as a team, or do we have to just do the individual team members?
So I think there's a student. They actually changed it from previous years. So there's the student registration link. I think it's student by student. Actually, have any students actually tried to enroll yet?
Yeah, I tried to do that, but they were just asking me to create an ID and then in CFA, and then just go through that whole process. So I just didn't know if we wanted to put in our team members or something like that, and just wanted to confirm that.
So I'll actually click through it, but I think I believe every student needs to create an account on the website. So every student needs to set up their information and then create a profile, and then I believe you set up your teams, but you join a team, but you register individually.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, thanks.
Anyone else have any other questions or concerns? If not, hope everyone has an awesome weekend. Enjoy the slightly warm weather until the cold rolls in. Have a good one.